PK52, the Saturday morning meeting. Well, this is the second episode of presentation skills. I think without leadership, we fail. It doesn't matter where you are, in the military, in a business life, or a high school or a college team. There needs to be a coach or a leader. Everybody needs somebody that they can bounce stuff off or look up to. What did they achieve? Am I ever going to achieve what they did? And so I got to tell you, I look at these midnight stuff. We talked about it, the ShamWow, the shake weight, these great diet pills, all these things that don't work. And obvious, if you just think about it, they don't work. You order something off the internet and it comes in, it's not what you thought it was. But for somebody or something engaged you enough to make you spend your hard-earned money on the chance that this product would change something in your life. So let me tell you a little bit about Ron Popeil. And when I first started selling in the sales industry, I studied this guy because this guy was, I don't know, is there such thing as a one-of-a-kind? Because if there is, he was a one-of-a-kind. So this guy is a young child, was shipped off to school from his parents. They basically got rid of him, sent him into a boarding school. And once he got out of that boarding school, they didn't even take him back. They sent him off to his grandparents in Florida. So it's kind of like, oops, we had a kid, we didn't want a kid. His dad was also an inventor, and he came up with the vegetable slicer. Well, when Ron got old enough, and I'm talking about pre-20 years old, he duplicated his dad's vegetable slicer and made it the Chop-O-Matic, the Veg-O-Matic. And he sold millions of these things. It was so good, it sliced your vegetables so pure. And he was on TV, and he was one of the first people to ever do an infomercial. This man would do an hour-long show to sell one product. So he's coined deals like, but wait, there's more. I use that all the time. When somebody goes, oh my gosh, that's amazing, but wait, there's more, and then add to it, what a great line. That line will go on forever, and people will use it, never knowing it came from Ron Popeil. But wait, there's more. And then he had invented, so in your household, almost every household in America, you have more than one device that will cook. You have a stove, you have an oven, you might have a microwave, but he comes up with this plastic box, and it was called the Showtime Rotisserie. And the tagline on that was, you just put it in there and you set it and forget it. So he'd have a studio audience. He'd go, here's the chicken, I put it in there, and you set it, and they'd all go, and forget it, Ron. And so they'd all start clapping and everything. In a 1 hour, stay with me, in a 1 hour infomercial, he sold $1 million worth of the Showtime Rotisserie. So when I look at myself and my talents as a salesperson, I can sell whatever somebody puts in front of me. I can sell it. But can I sell it at a level that Ron Popeil did? So if I'm selling cars for a living, why is it only people that live in my area that I'm selling cars to? Why am I not famous for selling cars all over the United States? The vehicle is out there. I'm not talking about the car. I'm talking about the vehicle, the internet. The internet can make you famous. Ron did it on TV. He paid for TV revenue time. He spent money. He spent millions of dollars to produce a show to sell $5 million worth of product. You don't have to do that anymore because being digital is really at no cost. There's one episode of the Ron Popeil show where he brings his it's his uncle or his nephew, I don't know. But the guy was obviously a chef in his lifetime, and he's selling knives. And he's got this one knife, and it's forever sharp. He cuts a tomato that is so thin that it looks like cellophane with this, obviously razor sharp. Then he beats the blade of this against a cinder block and then slices the tomato again equally as thin. You watched it right there on TV. If you're in the studio audience, you saw the guy. It's an indestructible knife that never needed to be sharpened. And it was 3 easy payments of $13.33. 3 easy payments of only $13.33. And you're thinking like, well, what a deal. One knife doing everything, but wait, there's more. And he comes out with a paring knife and he cuts a little orange and turns it into a flower. You want to put that in the middle of your table. And you got the big super sharp knife and the paring knife. And both of them, it's still $13.33 for 3 easy payments. But wait, there's more. Then he brings out the cleaver. Then he brings out the steak knives. Then he brings out more steak knives. It ended up being over 30 items that you're buying for 3 easy payments of $13.30. How are you not buying that? When I'm looking at the product that I represent, Toyota, and I realize that when somebody takes delivery of a Toyota, they don't even know how the vehicle works. There are so many nuances in the infotainment system and the drive systems of our vehicles that people buy the car and they have no idea what the vehicle will actually do. Well, if Ron Popeil was a Toyota salesperson, Ron would have an hour-long video on the drivetrain. He'd have an hour-long video on how to pair your phone and use all the technology that this vehicle provided. Then he'd have an hour-long video in front of a studio audience of how this vehicle can actually make your child a better driver with the potential to save their life. And you would buy it. And so what I'm asking you to do is find somebody, doesn't matter who it is, but somebody to be a mentor. Somebody that you know has gone to the next level. Somebody that dedicates themselves more than you dedicate yourself. Somebody that's got energy and passion that's never turned off. And pair up with that person because you always need somebody to bounce stuff off of. If you practice your presentations, and I'll end with this. How many hours do you think Ron Popeil spent standing in front of a mirror practicing how he stood, his hand gestures, how he motioned to his product with his hands, and how his eye control? How many hours do you think this man spent in front of a mirror making sure that when he spoke, that millions of people watching on TV would open their wallets up, grab their credit card, and buy his product? PK52, the Saturday Morning Meeting.